Doppler online. Tomorrow is the day I need you locked in. The Storm Prediction Center has issued an enhanced risk across central Texas for Sunday, and roughly 13 million people sit inside the broader threat zone. Today brings a slight risk focused on central Oklahoma, but tomorrow's setup is significantly more dangerous with large hail, damaging winds, and the potential for isolated tornadoes. Before this briefing ends, I will tell you exactly where I think the worst storm reports come from tomorrow and when. If you want my call every time a dangerous setup like this develops, subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a briefing. My read on this setup is that a deep mid-level trough digging through the Rockies is the engine driving both today and tomorrow, and the timing of when that energy arrives over the threat area separates a manageable Saturday from a volatile Sunday. Here is the surface analysis plot. Temperatures are running in the mid-50s and low 60s across the southern plains, with dew points showing moisture return already underway across the lower Mississippi Valley and Gulf Coast. A notable temperature gradient runs from the central plains eastward through the mid-Mississippi Valley, and that baroclinic zone is exactly where storms will feed tomorrow. This animation tracks the low-level wind field at 850 millibars. Watch how the moisture pipeline from the Gulf strengthens overnight into Sunday. That surge of warm, humid air feeding north into central Oklahoma and the Texas Panhandle is what loads the atmosphere ahead of the approaching trough. The one variable I am watching today is the cap. If convective inhibition holds too long this afternoon across western Oklahoma, storm coverage stays isolated and the wind threat underperforms. But any storms that do break through will encounter enough shear to organize quickly. Now let me show you exactly what hazards are on the table for today and who faces the greatest risk. On your screen now is the Day 1 damaging wind probability map. A 15% wind risk zone is centered over central and western Oklahoma, and that is the highest wind probability on the outlook. A broader 5% zone extends from eastern Wyoming through Nebraska and Kansas and down along the Gulf Coast from southeastern Texas through Mississippi and into the Florida Panhandle. Any storms that develop this afternoon in the core zone could produce gusts strong enough to bring down tree limbs and knock out power. Secure loose outdoor furniture if you are anywhere in central Oklahoma this afternoon. Look at the Day 1 hail probability map. The highest threat sits over western Oklahoma, where a 15% probability comes with significant hail hatching. That means hail 2 inches or larger is possible in that zone, large enough to shatter car windshields and damage roofs. If you are in this zone this evening, get vehicles under cover before storms arrive. The broader 5% zone extends across the central plains and into the Gulf Coast states. This map shows the Day 1 tornado probability. A compact 5% zone with significant hatching is centered in central Oklahoma. That tells me any tornado that forms in that area has a realistic chance of reaching EF2 strength or higher, capable of destroying well-built homes. A brief tornado or two cannot be ruled out across the broader plains this afternoon, but wind damage is the primary threat today. If you are in west central Oklahoma, have a plan to reach a sturdy interior room on the lowest floor within minutes of a warning. No watches or warnings are active as of this briefing. Given the slight risk, I would expect the Storm Prediction Center to issue a severe thunderstorm watch across central Oklahoma sometime between 2 and 4 p.m. Central Time. When that watch drops, it means conditions are ripe for storms to produce damaging winds and large hail. That is your signal to finalize your plan and know exactly where shelter is. I am putting the action plan on your screen right now. Step 1. Charge your phone and make sure wireless emergency alerts are turned on. Step 2. Move vehicles under a carport or garage before 3 p.m. if you are in central Oklahoma. Step 3. Bring in any outdoor furniture, trampolines, or decorations that wind can turn into projectiles. Step 4. Identify the lowest interior room in your home with no windows and make sure every family member knows to go there if a warning is issued. If a severe thunderstorm warning hits your neighborhood during your Saturday cookout, does everyone at the party know where to take cover? Now let me walk you through why tomorrow is the day that has my full attention. On your screen is the Day 2 categorical outlook. An enhanced risk is centered over central Texas, with a slight risk extending from Texas to Arkansas. This is a significant escalation from today. Here is the Day 2 wind probability. A 30% zone with significant threat hatching covers central Texas. That means winds strong enough to cause structural damage, 65 miles per hour or higher, are a real possibility across that corridor. The 15% zone radiates out to cover southern Arkansas and northern Louisiana. Look at the Day 2 hail map. Another 30% zone with significant hatching sits in the same western Oklahoma and Texas Panhandle corridor. We are talking about hail 2 inches or larger, large enough to total vehicles and punch through roofing material. This map shows the Day 2 tornado probability. A 2% zone covers north-central Texas into southeastern Oklahoma. The tornado threat is not the lead story tomorrow, but any supercells that develop in the enhanced zone will have the shear environment to produce brief tornadoes. Day 3 pulls back to a marginal risk across southern Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia as the system pushes east. That is a low-end threat, but worth monitoring if you are in the deep south. On your screen now is the WPC excessive rainfall outlook. This is your flood threat map. Today carries a slight risk for excessive rainfall centered along the Louisiana and Mississippi border, meaning rainfall rates could overwhelm drainage and cause flash flooding. Streets flood fast in these areas. Do not drive through standing water tonight, especially across southern Louisiana and coastal Mississippi. Tomorrow's flood risk drops to marginal as the heaviest rain shifts. Whether it's the hail threat in the DFW Metroplex or the flooding concerns along the Gulf, this weekend is all about staying ahead of the data. I'll be monitoring the radar and will provide updates as the situation evolves. Doppler tracking. Doppler out.